That's for me, isn't it?
Yes. For all of us.
That's for all of us. So they're really amazing. I mean, and they were, you said that, did you have a particular way that you'd like to put it or show another one?
Well, this is another card. This is what's called a major arcana. So the deck is divided up into 22 major arcanas and the minor arcanas. And I think of them as being the major cards or basic characteristics of us all.
Okay.
This is the card, which is really about transition and not so much about termination.
So it's not like,
no, it's not. It's not. It's not about termination.
Well, something has to leave or lose something to gain something new.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's a well, I think of it as a caterpillar dying to become a butterfly.
Okay. Yeah.
And
it's not something to be afraid of.
No, it's not something to be afraid of. And so that's a major arcana card.
Okay.
In this deck, they've got the numbers on the top, which indicate which of the 22 major arcanas they are, and the designation on the bottom, which is this.
What about a minor?
Minor arcana is like the inventor card, which I drew.
Okay, you want to put that?
Yeah,
okay.
And the inventor card, you can tell the difference because it's got, it says it designates it as either crystals, wands, spirit, or of the earth, or worlds.
What would they represent? I mean, would it be different than drawing the major, or which one?
Yeah, I think of them the simple way for me is that the major arcanas are like nouns and verbs, and the minor arcana are like adjectives and adverbs.
Okay, wow.
And so they don't have the same effect. Yeah, it's like a spelling bee or an English literature test.
Okay.
But
now, I notice you also have a pendulum.
I've got a pendulum.
And then I want to ask you after that about a little bit of the history of the tarot.
Right.
It's so interesting how it came about.
Right.
But now that's a pendulum.
This is a pendulum. Pendulums have also been used for thousands of years. I use the pendulum in my readings because it gives me an indication of which are the most important cards, if I'm on track or not. The pendulum is also mysterious in how it operates. You can ask it questions and get answers. And they actually use the pendulum. Another word is dowsing. They use it for finding oil and minerals and even finding lost objects like keys. I find it useful and interesting because it has its own energy, which is otherwise invisible.
You got to be careful in the grocery store. I tried it. I was trying to sneak it, you know, over, do I need vitamin, and people kind of.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful.
See how it's going?
Yes. That's very beautiful. So that the particular way that it goes helps you, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can also hold it over your hand, and it'll relate to your own energy or somebody else's energy.
Yeah.
I call this my Ferrari pendulum because it reacts so quickly.
Oh, that's nice. I like that Ferrari.
And I put it together myself with coral and beads. And
can anyone like put together a pendulum?
You can put together a pendulum with anything. I mean, my necklace is a pendulum. Generally, it's metallic. It should be heavier at the bottom than the structure itself.
Wonderful.
And just make it out of whatever appeals to you, or even a key.
Let's go a little bit here for a moment to the tarot, and you know, you said that we don't really exactly know how it works. It's mysterious, but it's rooted a lot. It began a long ancient.
I think I believe, and a lot of people say that a lot of the symbolism, particularly in the major arcana, predates the Egyptian symbolism, and that's something that makes
Goleta Slough area, a little bit more, you know, beautiful. There's always a little touch of idealism in it, but it's also very inspirational, as is your cards.
Oh, thank you.
Very much so, and I know that people are probably already getting their questions lined up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the answers.
That's good, though.
Yeah.
So, so do you recommend that people like get the cards? Then they can, of course, they can contact you to get it with your website and all coming.
Sense to me. The symbols are also seen on a lot of ancient cultures, not only the Egyptians, but also the Indian and others. And and they've just, I think they were discovered or rediscovered during the Crusades and taken back to Europe. Some people find that contentious, but you know, it's an interesting.
Yeah, probably back then, especially.
Yeah,
but it's still working,
they started using for divination and itself.
Yes, it's apparent for what you're doing. Now, let's talk a little bit about your tour guide days and what you'd like to do with that, and how you use the tarot and a tour guide. That's just fascinating to me. I've never been on a tour where people would give you a tarot reading.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of tours, not just, you know, I did wine tours and trips to the Getty Museum, the Hearst Castle, and eventually, and I was getting more and more involved with the tarot, and eventually we put them both together and started a tour which I called can buy the cards on my website and all the books that would define. There are thousands of different decks. This is a deck that appeals to me, and it appeals to most people who see them because it's contemporary. It's not arcane or medieval. There are no knives or forks or so forth, and they're friendly cards.
Yeah,
and
that's nice.
And I think Tarot should be friendly. It's got sort of a dark.
Sometimes you think of it that way.
Yeah,
like,
and it's really not.
On
You
the
know,
dark
it's
side.
as light and as pleasant as Tarot a go-go. And we went to Hearst Castle, and we did tarot card readings on the way, and we had champagne and orange juice and hors d'oeuvres, and people had readings, and they saw Hearst Castle, and it was a magic day.
How fun! So, and you would like to do that again, wouldn't you?
So yes, I've got a business plan out, and I'm waiting for an investor, and there are other plans I'd like to use.
Yeah. So you can actually, you know, it can be more exciting or deeper. Whatever, to actually do a little tarot while we're doing a tour.
Yeah, I think, well, particularly when people are touring, they're cut off from their habits and their basic environment, and they're doing something that's exciting and new, and it's sort of like, you know, what the hell, you know, let's try it.
Yeah,
and so people are more open when something like Tarot comes up on a tour.
Yeah, but you also do private readings and you do parties, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's on the website.
That's all there?
Most of my readings are an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes longer, and we can do, I email people. We also do phone readings, and parties are a lot of fun.
Okay, wonderful.
And
yeah, parties are fun.
Yeah.
So you can actually have fun with these then.
Yeah, they should be fun. I think, you know, I don't think life's meant to be that heavy, you know?
Yeah, it gets pretty heavy sometimes.
It
and
can
I think
get heavy. And
you kind of lose perspective.
Yeah. And I think the cards also, other people say the cards are often dark and they point out all the negativity. They don't, I don't think. You know,